to the platform, sir.
Was good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So how you doing this evening?
I'm doing real good. Had a blessed evening. I was so ready and amped to get on this show so we can say what God wants to say and set some people free.
Right, right. Well, let's get into some questions here, right? And I'm just gonna let it flow whichever way that it goes. Only God knows what's best because He knows what someone needs to hear right there, right? So, but it's my understanding that your father died when you was at the age of 4 years old, right?
Yeah.
Well, you describe what your life was like as an adolescent living without your father. First of all, no, let's be more specific. Describe what your life was like as an adolescent, as far back as you can remember.
4 years old, probably don't remember that much, but I like that much of my dad. I have I don't know, I think my mom got some memories that I'm like, dang, I remember doing that, but I was so young. But my life as a young kid, I felt like it was good for the most part. I felt like I was obedient to my mom and stuff. But
so you wasn't a problem child?
No, I wouldn't say I was bad like that. I know I had some.
When the baby,
I had some
when
issues,
a baby kid,
but I wasn't. Yeah. I feel like because we'll get into that later. But for the most part, growing up, I wasn't that much of a trouble child. Sometimes I would, have your spell, but what kid doesn't? I feel like towards my teenage years, that's when stuff started to
okay.
We'll talk about that later on.
So then it's kind of lead me to my next question though. So now, when did you realize that you did not have a father, or let's say your father was not in your life? And then once you was made clear and you begin to understand that, what was your response? What was your reaction? How did you begin to feel? What impact did that have on you?
I think I was probably like 8 years old before I started to realize, okay, I ain't got no dad. But it ain't hit until like 12 or 13 years old, which was some of the worst parts of my life.
How did you find out or come to realization at 8 years old that you did not have a father?
All the people, because I played Optimus football. This was how I really noticed, dang, it hit me in my face. But seeing all the other boys come with their dad all the time in practice, it made me kind of jealous in a bit. Like, dang, I wish I had that. What? Not jealous, but I wish I had that. I guess that's like envy. But then I started to feel bitter about not having one. And then it affected me bad because far as my behavior in school, and my attention span, staying focused, it took a toll on me mentally. That's what it was. Mentally, it kind of drove me crazy.
So let's be clear. So at 4, your father transitioned, but it wasn't until 4 years later, at the age of 8, that you realized he was no longer there?
Yeah.
So are you saying that, let me ask this question this way. So did your mother shelter you from that, or?
She didn't. It was known that he was gone, but I feel like as a child, you just
But did you know? Did you understand the impact?
So I think at that age, I ain't understand death. You know what I'm saying?
That's good.
Because even my grandpa told me that at the funeral, not at the funeral, but I think it was around that time, he was like, well, my daddy gone now. They put daddy in that hole or something like that. And I told him that, but you don't understand that as a child. You you just talk what you see, but you don't have an understanding of it.
So it had no effect on you at that time.
No.
You were still young and innocent.
At least to my memory, no, but I'm
Okay.
pretty sure my mom could probably tell you, like, "Hey, I probably had behavior changes."
Hmm.
But as far as me, I don't really remember that far back, like 4 years old. I really don't.
So did you have a relationship with him that you can do you have any memorable moments at that young
Um,
age with him?
I would say I remember going on jet skis. That's like the
Okay.
most vivid picture I ever. I was 4 years old. I don't know how, but I do remember that.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then other people would tell me a memory like me crashing down the blinds whenever he leave the house, like no, daddy, stuff like that.
Right. Right.
This is stuff that people told me that I was crazy about my dad.
Mhm. So here it is, you're 8 years old, you're playing Optimus football,
Mhm.
and you're seeing other of your teammates are showing up to the park with their fathers.
Yeah.
But now you begin to realize that you don't have that privilege. You don't have that pleasure of having your father with you.
Mhm. Right.
Okay. So what was your response to that?
Ah,
What did you do, as a matter of fact? Did you begin to question your mom about it, or
that was the thing. See, I wasn't a talker.
mm,
I didn't like, mom, I feel this way. Uh, or like cry because it just like I went about life and I ain't really speak about the issues, even though I knew something in me was troubled because like I said, at 13, I wanted to kill myself. Like I wanted to commit suicide. And I remember that night, it was like, dang, my dad ain't here, so what's the purpose of living? Right there.
wow.
That's and it was just like, go kill yourself if you want to be with him. That's what Satan was telling me as a kid. And I'm thinking, like, okay, if I kill myself, then I can go with my dad. That's the spiritual
Man,
side that I put together in my head, like, okay, if my dad ain't here, well, I can kill myself and go meet him. This is at 13 years old.
what drove you to that,
What?
of wanting to kill yourself?
Um, that
I know you. Was it the fact that you no longer had your father?
yeah, that
Period.
that took a toll. Yeah, it wasn't nothing else. That took a toll on my mind, like not having and knowing he wasn't going to come back. Like I can't experience what those other guys felt um at ceremonies, graduations, none of that. I was
Now,
just
but your mother has always been supportive of you,
all the time. Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
And of course, you had your grandfather there.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But you're saying though, even though they were there, they were supportive. They're very supportive of you. The absence, they could not replace the absence of your father.
No. I don't not the way I felt and I wanted it. Like I wanted to like receive love from my dad or have him say something to me physically,
Mm,
instead of like, yeah, you got people in the neighborhood and the community that come, and it
mhm.
felt good. But it's like, dang, I always wanted to see how it felt from my own biological.
You saying that it reminds me of my story,
Mm,
right? And of course, I had a father. My father was there. He was involved in my life. But because at one time I felt that our relationship was severed, and you said, based on what you just said, yeah, he was there, but what I wanted to hear him say was, I love you.
right.
I
Uh-huh.
love you. So I can relate to that. I can
Right.
understand what you mean by that when you say, hey, want to hear my dad tell me he
Yeah.
loves me,
And seeing how he react when I get a touchdown or if I get good grades or bring home art. I ain't never had those experiences. So I
Did
never had that experience. So I always longed for
I wish I had a thought about this. So I certainly would love to have had your mother sitting there
it.
next to you because I really would have wanted to hear from her perspective. Did she see the signs of you being troubled by not having your father? Has she ever shared that with you?
You know what? I think she did, but you want to know what's funny? I shared this. I said it just came to my memory the other day I was at the house and me and my wife always talking. And I said, babe, you know what? I probably did go to counseling because I remember when I was in elementary, I would go to this lady named Miss Ford, and it was out of nowhere. And I'm like, why I keep going to Miss Ford's office? Come to find out this lady was a counselor. So I ain't know. I used to love going to her class, eating chips. And I was speaking to her. I'm like, she come get me out of class. And I'm like, oh, dang, this fun, Miss. I want to go to Miss Ford. I want to go Miss Ford. Then it came like not too long. Like the other day I was talking to my wife. I was like, Miss Ford, that was my counselor. Like, that's crazy. But yeah, I feel like she peeped and knew something was bothering me.
So you're 12, 13 years old. So you're saying by now you're really going through a traumatic moment of not having your father in your life, right?
Yeah.
Can we get into more detail if you care to? If not, then we don't have to.
No, we can get nitty gritty.
But here it is. Where were you when you was contemplating taking your life?
Man, I remember that. I was in the bed. My mom had just got a job. Dang, I might cry, but my mom had just got a job. She was she was
okay, bro.
It's coming.
It's okay, bro.
I'm just like thinking of like how she persevered. And I was at a funeral not too long ago, and I was like, dang, my mama went through all of that, you know, because I've seen how that it was your sister actually. And I'm like, dang, she went through all of that. Like I know I felt bad, but like having someone that you had kids by, and then but I was at the house, I was in the bed, and I was thoughts was in my mind like this little kid. That's it. And I was next to my sister Diamond. My sister Diamond was in the bed, and she was like my counselor growing up. It's so much.
It's okay, bro. You're in a safe place, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. I'm gonna get the story out, but it's just the memories bringing up emotion. And I remember telling her like, I want to kill myself. She was like, "What? Go tell grandpa." And I was like, "What? Why go tell?" Like, I was like, I don't know. I should go get the knife and go kill myself. And I was just in the bed, just like, should I go? Like contemplate, like, should I go to the kitchen and get it? I mean, probably meet my dad. I don't know. Then after that, that's when my grandpa was like, "Boy, you don't need to kill yourself." You know, if anybody know my grandpa, that is the devil. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, that was my first time seeing the spiritual side of my grandpa. And that was my first time actually hearing Psalms 23 too. He always would say that too, like, because he'd know if I'm feeling crazy. Even though we got into our like arguments and stuff growing up, but he will always anytime I was going through those type of things, he'll always say something like about the Bible and scripture, you know. And then we call he did, and then we call my grandma Jones, because she was a pastor, and she came over to the house. And I remember we was in the house. She came over, and my grandma always, I love being around her because I always felt like my dad was like near her. You know, that was my logic.
Wow.
So she came over and she prayed for me. And after that day, like, I remember that's how I knew it was like that spirit was super dark, because the next day after, I was like, dang, it felt so bright and I felt so loose. Like I can move and see again. Like I felt joy and happiness. Although I ain't really know God on a personal level, but I always like was in church. You know, you taught praise, give God the glory and stuff, but it hit different when you actually grow that relationship with God and you see him work on your behalf. And that was the first step of changing the trajectory of my life. And from that point on, I took God serious. You know, even though I went back and forth, you know, doing my sin, but for the most part, I knew God was like, he was the savior of my life. Nobody could tell me otherwise.
Wow. So here it is. So fast forward, you know, God has brought you through that moment of wanting to take your life, right? So when did you really begin to, what you would say, accomplish certain successes in your life beginning, and how were you able to, rephrase my question. So you've gone through that period, right? What did you do in order to cope with? What did you begin to do? What did you change to begin to cope with not having your father now? Because you clearly understand he's gone, he's not coming back, and you're not, even though no matter how much you accomplish, no matter how much you achieve and the success that you have, dad ain't there. Dad is not there. What was the substitute for that?
The substitute. Ooh, let's get into that. My mama will be probably surprised when I tell her this. When she hear this. But the substitute, it wasn't. Well, it could be a drug, but I dove into pornography real heavy. Because I remember like getting introduced to it. I was like, dang. And then I'm like, okay. I noticed when I looked at it, and when you're looking at pornography, that's not the only thing you do. You also masturbate. So I started doing that, and I always felt good. I started doing that deep, getting into it deep. So I was like, dang, this relieved my pain, right? And this is after I got delivered from God. I felt that feeling from God. But, I ain't really know to like keep walking in that. So I took this is the first route I took.
Okay.
Was like, digging into pornography. So I would go, I had a PSP, phone, whatever I can get a hold of. Whenever that feeling come, I started overcoming that temporarily with that,
Wow. Wow. And that's,
yeah.
woo.
Yeah, I know, but it's real. It's real. Like
No.
we go through things. We go through things. A lot of times it's not the person that you see today. You would think like, oh, it was dirty. There was times where I was like, dang, I'm doing this, but what a man won't do to try to cope,
It's surprising that you're saying this, and I hope that the audience is listening to this, because I want to say this. I want to park here a little bit. We have a lot of mothers and fathers who divorce, who separate, whether or not they were married or not, they break up, and then we have women or mothers who would use their child against the father by not allowing the father or the child to spend time together. And it's good to see and to hear, especially coming from you. Here it is, you're a young man. Of course, you have no control over the fact that your father is no longer in your life. But the impact that it had on your life to introduce you to, as you stated, first of all, to want to commit suicide.
Yep.
Right? Then second of all, introducing you to engage into pornography, to get into masturbation and things like that, self-satisfaction. But yet still though, I don't think most mothers, and I'm going to say even fathers, realize the impact that a father's absent in their, especially their son's life, that they have on them. All right. Because I think that all they see of them is what they are doing publicly. But yet still here it is, you didn't know, they didn't see that part.
No. Well, I hope
you. Yeah, but my point is though, we don't never know what is in our children's mind.
Yeah.
We're not mind readers. And even with the part of suicide, if it wasn't for you having, let's just say, first of all, your sister next to you, and you having the mindset, and I'm just going to say you was just definitely probed by God in order to, hey, you need to share this.
Tell us,
You need to say this, this is what I'm dealing with. And that in turn got you the help that you need from a spiritual perspective. Okay, so but continue on. So what else did you do?
I dove into that, but another thing, I always got attacked. Like I remember it was like 13, I'll always catch panic attacks. Like panic attacks out of nowhere. My mom could testify to that, and I'm pretty sure she in the comments. But I remember one year I was playing football. I was like real good. Even the years before that, I was real good. But around that time, when I was catching panic attacks, like I had to come out the game because I'm like, oh, I'm too hot, I'm burning, or I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And I remember even scoring a touchdown. We thought it because of the shield, but it's like really I'm panicking. But right now we in the day and age where anxiety and panic attacks is like at the forefront. Before it was like, you crazy. You get what I'm saying? Right. It wasn't no mental health awareness thing. It was just like, I don't know what you going, like what that is, but you know, but yeah, I used to have panic attacks like all the time. It wasn't until the panic attacks I actually had to take God serious. That's when I started overcoming a lot of stuff. Once I started overcoming a lot of stuff around like 17. 17 was like, so like 3 years later, that's when I start actually implementing the word of God in my life. And that was a year after I met my wife. Well, at the time, she was my girlfriend.
Yeah, your girlfriend.
Yeah, which is your daughter.
So you're in high school.
Yeah.
All right. Then your life began to change.
Yeah.
So then you took a liking, an interest to my daughter. And so you started hanging around and all that kind of stuff, huh?
Yeah.
But since then, come on, talk to us some more about your life. I just want you to talk, man. Just walk us through this. What it was like, your transitioning. Let's say, walk the audience through how you got to where you're at right now, Mr. Artist Dope.
Okay. So, all right. Okay, after all the, anxiety and panic attack, then I started taking God seriously. That's when stuff started to change and it gets serious,
So you started having a flashback to your first moment when God came into your life. Now here it is. I realized that I cannot make this thing without him. I need God.
Right.
I need God.
But I feel like Talisha was kind of like the girl that kind of like I
walked you through it.
Yeah, pushed me to it, right? Because she knew God.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So it was like if she influenced me in a way. And I'm like, man, I knew God, like he delivered me, right? But I did leave, like I was saying, like I left him. He ain't leave me, but I left him, to go try to cope with things,
Right.
But it was seeing her and how she took Christ serious. I'm like, dang, I want to be like that. You get what I'm saying? Have that relationship with God. Because I always seen her with a Bible around the school. If anybody knows Talisha, she always had a Bible around the school. My baby.
Would you say this was a pivotal moment in your life? You meeting her?
Yeah, a lot of stuff changed, bro. Like I started having Bible study in the room with her. Like we'll talk about the Bible all the time. I started coming to Metron, which is a Bible study group.
Right.
Then I started going to church. I actually met you at that time, right?
Right.
But when we first met, you was kind of probing me, trying to see like my head, I guess. But then I guess God probed you like after a couple years. He was like, we finna do something out of the ordinary, right? And you moved me in with you, and this was around the time that me and my grandpa was bumping heads because I wanted to go to college for I wanted to go to college for art, and he was kind of like saying like, you need to go get you a job, you need to go do that, you need to go.
Right.
And I'm like, or he, we always was kind of like bumping head. We good now. Like I love my grandpa. We was just out cutting the grass the other day. But yeah, then that's when I met you and you moved me in here with your daughter in the house. But of course, it was rules.
Explain that, bro. Explain.
Yeah, that.
Clean that up now, because I don't want nobody to think that it was just the wild, wild west up in here.
No, I mean, of course it wasn't. I feel like people can see like the evidence of that when they see us. But man, it was rules. We couldn't be out here in the living room at past 9:30, 10 o'clock. We had to wrap it up. And then I had so much stuff to do though. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Right.
Like especially around here, rise, shine, give all God the glory. Here coming up when we ain't had no job. Here coming up with the pots and pans. Y'all got to get up. I'm like, dang, bro, this boot camp, bro. Like, I should have stayed at the crib. My grandpa wasn't coming in here with pots and pans telling us to get up. But you cultivated that like style for us, like we got to get up and go and make something of ourselves, right? And then you start telling us more about money, finance, living right, and you modeled it too, like being a righteous man after God. So I wanted to be that, and like I said, you influenced my life. You taught me a lot of stuff. You bringing me in, that was kind of like a lifeline, another lifeline in my life. That's what I felt like God was like, okay, because I feel like we never really, even though I ain't have my biological dad, I feel like God always, his plan always better. You're never going to be lacking as long as you and God. So he gonna always send somebody through. Right. So for the people that, they have that excuse, like, I ain't got no dad, it's all in, because I could have been like, well, it's a wrap for me. I ain't got no dad, might always wrap it up. But it's like, what you want out of life. That's what determines your outcome, what you want out of life. And that's what you're going to get.
So again, are you saying, first of all, your first lifeline was you meeting your wife, current wife right now?
Yeah.
Second lifeline was me moving you into our home.
Yeah.
Right. And you having a model, something to model after, being encouraged. Listen, y'all, I want y'all to understand. He got the business just like my sons.
Right.
He was right there.
Crazy.
It wasn't no, he's not. No. You gonna be up in here with your knees up underneath my table, eating my food, and my wife sleep. No, you're gonna get the business just like everybody else. But what was the driving force behind your success right now?
Right now is like, I want to glorify God. Then I got a wife and I got a family that I don't want to let down. Especially when you got a strong support system, it's like, okay, I'm gonna do my best, because once I make it financially, I want to be able to give back to those people that really imparted in my life in different ways. Whether it was money, whether it was money, whether it was speaking, whether it was giving art supplies, even like Ms. Nelson, her mom, I ain't have a car at the time. I always tell this story. She drove me I won an award. It's all about the community. My mama always say that it's a community thing. And she knew that. My mama wasn't so prideful to be like, well, I'm gonna raise my son. That's my son. You don't know what to do. Cause you got some people, how you gonna tell a woman how to raise a man? I had him. No, you better let the community play a role in that. Well, we're talking about men right now in that young man life, But yeah, she took me to Boca, and I ended up getting second place in the art contest, and that was something that I really love. But the driving force behind my success is I feel like I owe God for saving my life. That's the least I can do. Wow. So I gotta make something happen with this gift that I got to glorify him. Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna be known, but I want to make him known. Like, even right now on this platform that we on, like, I'm telling my story only because I know it's gonna benefit people. I know it is.
So you went through high school, you did graduate, right?
Yeah, I graduated.
And it's important to understand, because most young men who grow up without fathers, they don't graduate from school. Do you have any children?
No, no children.
You sure? Yeah, I'm just playing, y'all.
Hey, well, anyway.
I'm just playing. But and that's another thing. You know, you didn't have to deal with teenage pregnancy.
Yep.
Have you had any rough encounters with the law? You know, as far as so I think though, well, listening to your story, and I'm speaking to all the young men out there who are currently fatherless right now, or you're growing up without a father. You know, that may be a part of your life, but that does not have to be your life. There's still opportunities. And it's all, if I'm listening to you, it really comes down to, number one, you wanting to succeed.
Yep.
And number two, realize that you cannot succeed without God.
Yep.
Is that a pretty good summation?
That's a great.
Okay. So now, here it is. You've gone through adolescence, you've gone through your teenage years, you're a young adult right now. Talk about marriage, man. What was that like?
Man, marriage, awesome. I'm on my second year.
Okay.
Yeah, we got married in 2021, December 11th.
Right.
I'm about to be my second year, right? Coming up. Third, I'm sorry. Yeah, third year. God,
okay.
but
all right, yeah, all right.
Hey, what Janet Jackson say? Everything. I forgot the lyrics. She got a song talking about when you having fun. Funny how time fly when you having fun. Okay. So I'm having fun.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? With my wife.
Okay.
But marriage is great. It's the best thing. That it's best thing for a man, especially a man of God. I couldn't ask for any better partner to do life with, especially since. I mean, we met when I was 16. We 29 now.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Like,
you met at 16.
Yeah.
And you're 29 now.
Yep.
And you're still having fun.
Yep. Still having fun. Yep.
13 years.
I'm enjoying it.
So you married your high school sweetheart?
Yes. She was God sent, dude. She was God sent.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. What
See, like I said, that was the lifeline, like, for me taking God serious. It's like God put her and just allowed me to kind of be attracted to her.
So let me ask you this: were you attracted to other girls?
Of course. Like I said, I was digging into pornography.
Okay.
But I would say I was raised the right way. Like, I remember going to Publix. I remember going to Winn-Dixie. I remember going to Home Depot, and my mom would turn around and be like, DJ, you see that right there? Don't bring that home. Do not bring that home. So I always had this gauge, like, my mom ain't gonna like her. Oh, nah, you too loud. Nah. You know, so I found the right one. You know, I found that when I was at Pace, I wasn't looking for, I would say I wasn't looking for a girl, but she happened to catch my eye, and I was like, dang. We started talking, and first it was through my homie, which is your son, Toro. So shout out to Toro. He actually the first lifeline, if anything. But yeah, man, Toro had a great relationship. And then I was like, dang, bro, I thought they was going together though. I thought him and Talisha was going together.
Right.
Because I'm like, they always together. So I'm like, dang, bro, I'm around this dude, and I kind of attracted to him, girl. You know, in my head. So. You know, you get that handshake without looking to the girl. You're like, yeah. So then I'm like, dang, nah, bro.
Undercover, huh?
Yeah, and I don't know what happened, how I found out that was his sister. I forgot. And I was like, bet, say no more. Say no more. I get us. You a quarterback? He was a quarterback too. So.
Right. Y'all play football together.
Yeah, he was a quarterback.
Yeah.
Marriage life is awesome. It's good.
What did you have to do to prepare for
that? We went through counseling, communication. That was the main thing I learned, was communication, because like I said, remember I kind of bottled things up, which would allow me to have those panic attacks. And I remember, now when I think about it, I remember my mom was like, DJ, you're going to have to talk. You got to talk what you feeling. I don't know your mind. You got to tell me what you feeling. So that was kind of a thing when I first got into a relationship with Talisha, not marriage, but a relationship with Talisha, I would have panic attacks. She ain't see that side of me. Right. And this is a couple years later, and it's like, I gotta speak to this person that I plan on doing life with. You know, so if anything, she should know. But I would tell her when we start to speak and communicate, and like her words would comfort me. Like she'll pray for me. And I feel like same way I felt when my grandma prayed for me or when I was around my mom, because that was like another thing too I would do. I was so like, I was a mama's boy. I was always around my mom because she always comfort me.
Did you have brothers?
I had brothers, but I was the only boy for a long time. I got a brother, Aaron, man, which is from another.
So you're the eldest.
Another lady.
You're the eldest.
Nah, well, to Aaron, I am.
Okay. You ain't gotta go no further.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's a lot because I don't want to.
Yeah,
we're gonna start doing Jones math because the Jones blood got a lot of. We got a lot of.
All right. So here it is. You're married now. You've been married for 3 years. Everything going good, right? You, again, that's just a recap. You married your high school sweetheart, right?
Yeah.
Talk to us about Art is Dope.
Art is Dope. Art is Dope was birthed at the kitchen table. I remember my first time drawing that word. I really liked how it looked. I just liked the aesthetic. You know, the art in the middle of it is, and then the D come out, it extends over by the A, and then the E ends at the other side of the T. Right? Art is dope. And I was like, dang, that's aesthetically pleasing, as they say today. Aesthetically pleasing. I love the way it looked. And I just started drawing that on everything. I started doing it on my clothes, doing it on my shoes.
Right.
Right. I got my shirt on.
Yeah.
I started doing that. And I was drawing on clothes, shoes. I started doing mine first. And then I tried going to school, right? And then you came into play. It was funny. Even my teacher told me in college, she was like, you don't even need to be. She was like, you can teach this class. And I was like, okay, what am I in school for? So then I dropped out, especially after I heard that word from God, though. It wasn't just her or you, but it was like I heard it was another like confirmation. God would. I ain't telling everybody that's in college go drop out.
Right.
This got to be God said this to you. Like everybody walk is different. You get me? But Art is Dope. Art, first of all, was my gateway. It's like I'm gonna say this like a drug, so to say.
Okay.
Art is dope, which is dope is short for dopamine, which is the happy chemical that's released. But Art is Dope. It's here where it is now because people around me that believed in my dream, that always spoke positivity in my life, that bought me that bought me sketchbooks, right? That gave me word not to quit, right? When I felt like I wanted to quit, you will always tell me, like, even if my machine broke, airbrush machine broke, and stuff like, hey, you got to find a way. I'm over there like, dang, what I'm gonna do? I might lose this client because then I start doing NFL players cleats. I started doing that and I started getting a lot of money and stuff. And then it just God started growing my brand because I was diligent in it. I ain't gonna lie, I was diligent. And I was willing to put in the work in my craft and practice when nobody was looking.
But listening to you talk, it seems like you're saying that art, along with Art is Dope, became your purpose.
Yeah.
It became in essence, you realized that my life is not all lost just because of my past situation of me growing up without a father. God has put certain people in place to help me along this journey. And now here it is, I found something that I have a love, a passion, a desire to do. And I'm going to work it.
Yep.
I'm going to work it to the best of my ability. I think it's the other part to it too that it come out. Your wife is into fashion as well, right?
Yes.
So how does that play to what you guys do?
She actually helps me with design. So basically, everything y'all see that comes out, if she don't okay it, it ain't happening. You know what I'm saying? Because we're a team, man. We've been a team since, like I said, 26. No, I'm tripping. We got together in 2010. But
Okay.
you know, I was 16 years old. So we've been a team. Well, I would say we started getting together with art into like 2 years. No, not a year after we started
Mhm.
actually dating.
Okay.
And we would help each other out. And it's like, dang, we do art. When I remember my first time, I was like, what you do art?
Oh, it was on, huh?
Yeah, you know, I'm like, dang, you compatible. You know what I need. You know, but the way art is dope, I don't really see it. I know it's a business, but I don't, like you said, I see it as a ministry.
Right.
That's why
Oh,
I'm
that's
like,
good.
I ain't quitting, bro.
That's good.
No matter
Oh,
what,
wow,
because I
that's
want
powerful.
when people see that artist dope logo and they see that symbol, like this how Nike stand for victory, or you see the Batman sign flash in the sky, and you like know that help is on the way, right?
Right.
I want you to see that artist dope logo and be like, that's a person that ain't quit.
Mhm.
That is hope, joy. That's what I try to bring forth in my brand, right? So
I want to go back a little bit to uh, a production, a stage production that you played in,
ah,
right?
yeah.
Uh, a Shattered Love,
Mhm.
right? And that was your first time acting. As a matter of fact, you might well say one of the main characters.
Yeah. One.
And I think that, well, the production was about uh, a son who lost his father in violent way,
Yep.
right?
Same way I lost mine.
Man, you played that part so, oh my God, so real, bro.
Yeah.
Was it because of your own personal experiences that you were so convincing in that character?
I feel like yes, because I had no stage. I never been on the stage before, but if you're looking for an actor, you want realness, right?
Right.
So what better place to get it from than a person that actually went through it? So I really wasn't acting. Like I remember,
Mm.
like I had to remember stuff, but like the acting part and the emotions behind it, it was
It
like,
came natural.
yeah, it came natural because I knew how I felt
At
be
what
depressed. I know how it felt for somebody to take my dad from violence. You know,
at what point did it really hit you that, you know what, man, I'm actually living this thing out, what I experienced as a young child? When did it actually really hit you?
say that again. Can you
When,
expound on it a little bit more?
excuse me, when did it really become real to you for your emotions that, you know what, even though I know this is a production, it's a stage play, but right now here it is, I'm actually walking this thing out. At what stage? Was it during uh, um, the rehearsals, or was it when the first time you actually had to do this production live?
I remember the first time that you came to me and asked me. I was like, bro, I don't know.
Mhm.
But if anybody know me, I'm optimistic. Really, I'm willing to take on like a task that's hard because I be like,
Mhm.
but
But you did
and
well,
I don't
bro.
like quitting. But
Mhm.
that's another thing my mom instilled in me. But I would say that became real to me after kept doing those rehearsals. I was like, yo, this crazy. Right? Like I'm actually acting out something that was real to me. Acting. But I remember when the day of the stage play, I had to go to the back and I was crying because I was like, yo, like this happened for real. And I couldn't really get over the fact we had the casket there and the gun there, everything. And it was just like that anger started like taking over because I ain't gonna lie, I was angry, but it was like a bottled up anger. I was angry towards God. I remember I told that testimony a couple weeks ago or last week, I think. But I was angry at God because I knew He was the one that give life and take it away.
Mm.
And I was like, bruh, you took my dad. So that was like, I ain't even want to deal with God at all. I just wanted to live my life kind of like separate from him because I felt like he took something that really affected my life.
Mhm. Do you often think about it today?
I think about it, but not with now when I think about it, it's like a memory. It's not like, oh, I'm trying to go kill myself and stuff like that.
Okay.
And now when I think about it, also I think about like the story and how God allowed me to overcome that, and my
Mhm.
family and my mom to overcome that.
Mhm.
That
So would you say you healed from it now? You healed from it now?
I'm
That
healed.
moment?
I would say I'm healed from it. Probably some residue, but now being in Christ, I know it ain't nothing that I can't overcome.
Oh, wow.
Right. So
Wow.
because
Wow.
back, like I said, back then when I was just getting it, I knew the word, but I ain't have a hold of it in my heart.
Right.
Now I got it in my heart, and it's something that's that I have possession of. Right. I don't have to go search and find and try to go look for people to pray for me. But I'm thankful for the prayers because I used to be like, can you pray for me? Because I ain't know that. Dang, I got the authority, but it ain't until I grab hold of the word for myself. Now I can pray for myself when I'm feeling depressed. Now I can pray for myself when a panic attack coming on. Now I can pray for myself when I'm feeling worried. You know?
So you're saying to other young men who may be in that same place that you're in, look, go to God.
You
Go to
got
God.
to. You got to.
Don't blame anyone else. Don't even blame God, but just go to him and he will give you the resources that you need in order to press through or to pass through those trying moments in your life.
Yeah, he will. He did it for me. He supplied everything.
What would you like to share some pointers for other young men who uh, are growing up without a father?
Yeah. I would say the first thing is when you're looking for a woman, you're looking for a girl, a wife, not a woman, a wife. Right? Look for a modest one. Don't go, don't go into searching for a wife with your lower extremities.
Mm,
That look for one that's modest. Look for one that's quiet. Look for one that's God fearing. One that's gonna help you. One that you see that you can collaborate with in life and go far with. That's one. Two is watch the company you be around. My mom was big on that. Watch the company you keep. Right? You too. You would say that. Watch the company you keep. Because we know that what it is, bad company corrupts good character.
right.
And that's a fact.
Correct.
That was something I had to deal with growing up, like in middle school. I always kind of wanted to be, you know, I always kind of got influenced by people that was doing wrong when I wasn't that guy. And I feel like being influenced by having a wrong crowd around you can push you to do so many things. And when I say us, young men without father, we're prone to go and follow other dudes, right? Because we want to be in, want to be with the crew, but you gotta be wise of the company you keep. Another one. Oh, don't do alcohol. Don't do drugs. Do not do drugs. And I know it probably sounds cliche, but I stayed away from drugs. I thank God, actually, I never put a cigarette in my mouth. I never put a black in my mouth, weed, alcohol, because I seen it. Part of it was fear. Like when I was growing up, fear because my mom, hey, you better not do that. Even my grandpa used to smoke in front of me. Like, or sometimes I go on the side and I was hearing, hey, you don't need to be doing this. Don't do what I do. And it's like, but it's that fear my mom put on. If I ever catch you, I'm gonna chop your lips off or something like that. So that was fear at first, but then once I got the fear of God, that actually allowed me to sustain having that position towards drugs and alcohol. I seen a lot of people career get just washed away because of drugs. How many athletes we see that was on the verge of getting a scholarship or was in the NFL, but drugs came in and they altered their future.
You mentioned your mom several times. Tell us something about your mom.
My mom, I'm gonna tell you one more thing is God.
Okay.
Make sure you let God lead you and direct your path. Right? That's
Period.
it.
Period.
Love God. That's it.
Yes, sir.
Now to my mom. You say that again?
Yeah. Just tell us something about your mom because you bring her up a lot.
Oh, my mom. My mom was like my crutch. Like, cause like, dang, being at that funeral did something to me. Like seeing a mom go through that, losing that our father, and then still trying to ain't got that much money.
Right.
You know, my grandpa stepped in, thank God for him, but and still not have multiple men coming in and out the house, selling her body because she wanted to feed. It was plenty of things that she could have did, right? But she didn't. She persevered. She got a job, a good job. Man, like my mom is like a hero. You know, and I always love and honor her. She always helped me.
Mom is a hero.
All the time. Like, I have a panic attack or whatever, I can call my mom, whatever, or she'll call me like, hey, I've been thinking about you. Oh, no. I just feel you in my spirit. And I'm like, Mom, I'm good. But my mom, she's unselfish, right? Man, my mom did so many things for us. Unselfish?
Yeah.
I seen, and it's not just me, I seen my mom give money to her friends without asking for it back. She gave money to me. I don't need it back, son. Like, and that's unselfish. And unselfish with love too. You know, she go out on the ledge for people. And that's not just for me, that's for my sisters, my brothers, but my sisters them always say, oh, there go her favorite son when I come out. You like they'll be like, hey, I just asked for that, like juice, because I used to always ask for my mom soda. But even now they'll bother me if my mom bring chicken at the house. And they'll be not asked for it earlier, but I come and I'll be like, Mom, let me get that chicken. You finna get it. Right? And then you're like, hey, we've been asking for that all week.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, well, I can't, you know, but man, my mom persevered, bro. Like we went, I remember going to a shelter one time during a hurricane, bro. Like, and she still bro. And that's another thing I learned from my mom, not quitting, just seeing her press in after like all the circumstances. We went to a shelter and we still went to school.
Right.
I'm like,
so what sounds like I'm hearing, your mother, she really loved you, really was very supportive of you.
Yeah.
But she didn't shelter you, nor did she baby you.
Oh no. No, I had uncles too that be like, get off that.
Yeah, we know.
I ain't gonna say that, but you know, get off the bread.
Yeah. Okay. But hey, listen.
I'd like to add something.
Go ahead.
Like I said about the community, it was coaches too.
Okay.
Coaches was like the first, like after my grandpa was the first man I actually, and it was like I said, God will supply all your needs, right? So what I was lacking was a dad. I had plenty of fathers.
Oh, wow.
Through coaches, mentors. Like shout out to Coach Lamb, Coach Mario, Coach Ant, Henry, Coach Drew, it's so many coaches I could name. And people, Mr. Lawrence, he wasn't coach, but he was a man that my mom dated. Mr. T.I., shout out to him, Mr. Tavares. Like, it's God will put that thing that you lacking and give you it in abundance.
But you got to look for it though.
Yes, you got to. We're not in despair. We're not in despair.
A lot of times it could be right there, but you just caught up in your own self and you just pushing aside or don't want to accept it or anything like that. Mr. Desmond Jones, Mr. Artist Dope.
Yeah.
Look, just let's do this. I'm going to ask this question because we got to get up. We get ready to wrap this up.
Okay.
You know, we got to wrap this up. But let me ask this, Frank. Would you mind sharing some of your, as far as your greatest supporters with Artist Dope? Let's say, because you mentioned about doing cleats for some athletes, right?
Yeah.
You want to name a few?
First, I gotta always shout out the first one when he was down here for the Miami Dolphins, Jarvis Landry. Shout out to him. Appreciate you. He was the first one that ever gave me a shot. Muhammad Sanu, he came through. Julio Jones, shout out to you. Who else? Julio Jones, Xavier Howard, and this a big one. Shout out to Robbie Anderson. He really, like, he kept me in business. This man ordered cleats after cleats after cleats. He ain't have to. I felt like he was just ordering to support my business at one point. I'm like, I can't be this good. But it's so many to name. Like, I hope I ain't forgetting some. I hope I'm not forgetting.
But what about your Wynwood experience?
Oh, Damon John. Oh, boy. That was a crazy. I just listened to God. I remember I've been wanting to go to Wynwood for weeks, but I could not go. I don't know why I wasn't going there. But that day when I woke up, I'm like, I'm going to Wynwood. I'm like, I got to do something with my brand. I'm like, I got to get more exposure. And I'm out there on the corner and I see this Rolls Royce pass by, black interior with the blue inside, royal blue to be exact. And he got the window crack. And I say, hey, you David John, I got your book. I got your book. I said, my father-in-law gave me your book, The Power Broke. He's like, oh, for real? Then he stand up, he was like, what you got? No, he was in the car. He was like, what you got? What you got? I was like, dang, I don't really got that much, man. He wants socks, I got hat. He was like, man, he parked the car. After he heard, I got your book, he parked that car. And he got out. I thank God, like, God know what he be doing. Like, thank you for give me that book, because had you not gave me that book, he probably would never got out the Rolls Royce, got out the comfort of his Rolls Royce in a hot day. If y'all, you know, but I met Damon that day, and he bought stuff from us.
Right.
He invited me and his wife, me and my wife, to his crib, and we spoke about this. He mentored, still to this day is mentoring me. I can message him when I want to, anytime. Like, God just opened up like a big old door. Oh yeah, I did a collab with him. He wore my jacket at the Apollo Theater for his children book. I painted a chair for him, and we got something coming up which I can't disclose, but we lit. God, like, whenever you put your trust in God, you can't go wrong. If anything, that's what I want the people to take away. Right? Even don't give up in a dark moment, right? Because it's like the sun gonna shine again.
Right.
Weeping may endure for a night, but joy come in the morning. Right?
We got to get, this is so great. We got to get out, but I really think it's important, though, we highlight every aspect of your life. And what I mean by that, because not only do you love God, you seek God, but you're definitely active.
How to be
in church.
That was a point I missed out on.
Okay.
Get active in church, y'all. Like, I don't know what it is. You gotta get in church, man. We be at the clubs, we be at the bars, but we giving everybody worship, but the one that actually created our life. We gotta go to him, right? And then once you start to understand, like, and then when you go and read the Bible, ask God. If you don't know it, ask him, ask people around. We ask about everything else when we don't know. Ask God, like, God, help me understand your word. Help me understand it. Get in church, be active. If you don't know anything, serve. Go clean the bathroom, go paint the walls. I'm in ministry. I first I was doing the camera. Now I sing. That was another thing I found out, after serving in the church. I was like, dang, I like singing to God. And that's one of my weapons I could use to overcome depression and anxiety when they want to creep up. But I know I got the victory now. So when anytime it comes,
bro,
song is always there.
This has been a pleasure. This has really been a pleasure. And I thank you so much for your transparency, open and honest. And he said a lot, to the audience. He said a lot here tonight that we can really glean from. And if you, let's say, are a mother of a son and daughters too, now, because I'm not, we don't want to leave daughters out.
Yeah.
Because they need their father as well. But if you are a mother of a son who does not have a father in their life for whatever reason, and I hope that reason is not because you are doing everything you possibly can to keep your son's father out of his life. If you are, please don't do that. Because the person who you're really hurting, you think that you're hurting the father, that child's father, but no, who you're really hurting, you're hurting your child. The very one who you, in your mindset, might be thinking that, you know what, you're protecting him. No. It doesn't matter whether or not, good, bad, or indifferent. It doesn't matter whether or not that father, let's say, would have that status that you feel that he should have. What matters is the fact that if he wants to be in his child's life, please let him. Don't interfere with that. Don't get involved with that. Let alone. And you know what? He might not be good. He may be, as the word has been labeled, a deadbeat dad. But let that child find that out for themselves if you could. But don't you contribute to that. But if anything, I hope and pray that you be just as my guest mother was, very supportive, very encouraging to him, being an asset to his success, your child's success, instead of a liability. And God will make a way for your child, your son. And to you, son, to you, I say this to you. Don't give up on yourself. It may seem unfair. Your dad, I was one of those dads, I would say that, yeah, I was always around. This is the point how I responded to that. I was a father who was present, but I was emotionally absent. And what I mean by that, I was a father by nature or by cause, but as far as having any form of relationship or connecting with my son, my oldest son, I did not do that. It wasn't until he was 12, 13 years old when I realized that though I was there, the first 12 years of his life, I had to change that. So now and I'm grateful, and I don't want to take too long on this, but I'm grateful though that he had a mother just like my guest had a mother. She always was supportive. She never did anything to keep me away from my oldest son or anything. She never talked bad about me. Yeah, I had my struggles, man. I had my struggles as a man and as a father. Nevertheless, so I'm grateful for her spirit of unforgiveness, because today my oldest son and I have one of the most closest relationships that you could ever ask for. And I'm grateful for that. So I'm saying to you, sons, don't give up. I hope that you can take some of the points that my guest, Mr. Jones, has shared tonight with you and take them and apply them, implement them. Most important thing, I would encourage you, go to God, seek God. I don't care how many times you get knocked down. I don't care how many times it seems like doors closing in your face, so forth and so on. But listen, don't give up. He said tonight, you heard him say, he does not like to quit. And you imagine, yeah, he had that moment in his life where he did want to quit, want to give up. But God intervened. God intervened. God would do the same for you. Say, have the same heart for God. I believe that God has always made a way. Every son I have, even in the absence of your father, he will put a father figure in your life. One thing we always make the mistake at is that we don't want to listen. So I encourage you, listen. Because what they tell you, the very words that they share with you, can be the very words that you need in order to go to the next phase and next step. Okay? So, hey, again, we thank you again for your time. We appreciate all your comments. Hey, how about take some time and share? Take a moment and share this broadcast tonight. Share with whomever you know, whoever you need it. And listen, this month is Father's Day. In 2 weeks, I believe it is. But why don't you make this month, the whole month of June, Father's month, not Father. However you want to say it, I don't care. Do something, dedicate something, do something for the father figure in your life. Okay, just do it. All right. Hey, we're not going to hold you any longer, but please, again, share this broadcast. Appreciate all your comments. We do apologize that I don't know if you had any questions or not, but we're going to work on that where we can respond to your questions a lot better. We just right now we're in that process of really experimenting, trying new things, providing and coming up with a new setup, because all we want to do is continue to grow. But I'm done. I'm talking. I'm done talking. It's my last and final close. Hey, listen, I see you next week. God bless.